Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The topic that I want to discuss today is our need to stay with Haqq and to support the oppressed with examples from our daily life, like from today's life, especially the events that are happening in Kashmir. Over the past 1.5 months, 30 plus innocent Kashmiri Muslims have been barbarically killed by the Indian forces. This blood and the blood of every shaheed in the world is spilled because Muslims did not stand when the blood of the progeny of the Holy Prophet was spilled, starting from the burning of the door of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, Imam Ali alayhi salam, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, Karbala, and the atrocities on the Sadat throughout history. The remembrance of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, their love and the animosity against their enemies should not be taken for granted. A lot of hard work, rivers of blood, tireless sweat and tears of sorrow have gone into it. It is a blessing from Allah conveyed to us over generations. How can a memory be alive and spread around the world after 1400 years that the entire world with its satanic forces and its utmost power has tried to end this memory, but it never ends? One such example is the Arbaeen of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. 2 months ago, the Arbaeen of Imam Hussain alayhi salam was commemorated around the world. In Karbala, over 16 million pilgrims gathered from all over the world to commemorate the 40th day after the martyrdom of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Arbaeen is one of the largest peaceful gatherings in the history of humanity, but not only that, it was the single largest gathering amidst a pandemic that has ever taken place. However, there are two very interesting aspects that one should realize that amplifies the importance of this commemoration. Firstly, the event of Karbala isn't a recent event such that its memory is so fresh that 16 million people were galvanized and they came to Karbala. Rather, it happened 1400 years ago. Secondly, these pilgrims did not gather for the first time. In fact, every year since 2003, after the overthrow of Saddam, a sea of pilgrims descend to Karbala, transcending the boundaries of religion, nationality, and culture. We commemorate that feeling of human unity in the cause of Imam Hussain Islam, who left his home to reform the religion of his grandfather, which was taken hostage by Banu Umayyah's dynasty. Just to be clear, Imam Hussain Islam did not set out to reform the religion of his grandfather by force. It is apparent from his actions and sermons that he tried to avoid conflict on the day till the day of Ashura. He even suggested to leave the Islamic territory, but was not willing to give allegiance to the Caliph and in turn legitimizing un-Islamic practices. Hence, Imam Hussain Islam's position is known and remembered as the stand for justice, support for Haqq, not accepting the tyrant and refusal to legitimize the immoral, corrupt practices of the elite. In doing so, he was martyred with all of his family, and his women and children were taken captives, but he became the symbol of justice, the symbol of equality, the symbol of dignity, the symbol of hope for the oppressed, to the point that his examples are used and have been used and will be used by world leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Charles Dickens. But it is ironic that Mahatma Gandhi, who gave his example, the example of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, and in the country and his country and the country that he founded in Kashmir, the Hindu army is now killing Muslims, a sign of oppression, in the town called Hyderpura. We should realize that conveying this message and propagating this message of Imam Hussain Islam, it was not easy and was not simple. It went through many difficulties. Hands and legs were chopped, babies were killed, caravans were looted, and Imam Hussein's followers were killed so that they may not pursue the Imam Hussein's love and message. While the walk slowed down in certain eras, the message kept propagating in blood, in secret meetings, and in closed-door commemorations. I'll talk about that glimpse in one of the future discussions where I've seen with my own eyes how this message propagates in societies where oppression prohibits this message. Therefore, we should not take this message and these commemorations lightly. Who else can understand the difficulties of any movement and fighting for rights than the people of this country, United States, where the forefathers stood against the tyrant king, fought for the freedom, where women struggled for their rights, where slaves were auctioned, but ultimately the civil rights movement was born, where non-Muslims stood up when president banned travel from the Muslim countries, and where the entire nation came out in the pandemic to show solidarity and support for the Black Lives Matter movement. In other words, it is easier to struggle when the circumstances are favorable, but the value of those who struggled during the difficult times is much more. This is also mentioned in the Quran, that those who accepted Islam before the conquest of Makkah and struggled for it are on a very different level than those who accepted Islam after the conquest of Makkah. In 2021, we commemorate the walk of Arbaeen around the world in a secure environment in the US as well, where there is freedom of speech, actions and religious practices, security of life and family, abundance of food and resources. However, there are places in the world where this is not possible. Places like Nigeria and Saudi Arabia. In Nigeria, tens of people were killed during the Arbaeen walk. In Saudi Arabia, there is no permission to commemorate the tragedy of Karbala. There is no freedom of religion. While the world mourns the events of Karbala, Shias, Muslims, Hindus, Christians, Sunnis, where the world mourns the events of Karbala, the Saudi regime places a curfew in the mosque of the Prophet for Ashura. People wearing black are not allowed to enter the mosque. No ziyarah is allowed of Jannatul Baqi, where the brother, the son, and the grandsons of Imam Hussain Islam are buried. The grave of 4 Masomeen AS are broken. There is no shade, no pilgrims, no mosque, no pillars, no water, no prayer, no Quran, no Noha, no Matam, no Majlis, no condolences, just pitch dark nights, scorchingly hot days, and pin drop silence under the 24-hour surveillance of the army of the enemy of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. This is exactly what Sayyida Zainab saw in Karbala when she returned on Arbaeen. We have the same state of affairs today. There is Karbala in Hijaz today. Therefore, we should make a point from all of our practices that we will not forget those 6 Masomeen alayhi salam who rest within a quarter mile in Madinah. It can be as simple as writing an email to our congressman and conveying our concerns on religious freedom in Saudi Arabia, on human oppression in Kashmir. We should avail this freedom that Allah has given us in this country, which millions don't have, to raise awareness and highlight our concerns. We will be answerable for our duties in front of Allah. May Allah accept all of our deeds bi Haqq Muhammad Ali Muhammad. May Allah give us the strength to make a difference and to free Hijaz from oppression, so that the blessings of Muhammad Ali Muhammad can be experienced by the broader humanity, and the illegitimate and incorrect ideology is taken down. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbi ighfirli wa li walidayya wa liman dakhala baytiya mu'minan wa lil mu'minin wal mu'minat wa la tazid az-zalimina illa tabara. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.